It is your girl Char, and you are watching Talk Berry to Me. I'm so thrilled. We have an amazing guest today. Her name is Dr. Veronique Elefant-Yanni, PhD and clinical psychologist for over 25 years. Her experience has been immense, and she's the creator of the 3D human therapy, which is such a fascinating framework. It's a groundbreaking model that helps patients tune into their inner world through tension, activation, and valence. Dr. Elefant-Yanni she is based out of Singapore. Doctor, I'm super excited. Tell us more about yourself. You said what inspired you to get into psychology?
When I was young, let's say around 20 years old, I understood that I had a lot of anger. Okay. And I wanted to do something about because I have an important relationship in my life. So I wanted to be sure to be more mentally stable because when I get upset could be very nasty. So I decided to work on myself. And I began to see a psychologist. And after some time, I say, I need to understand more. Okay. I need to understand myself more. So I went to study at the University of Geneva. I went to study psychology. And at that time, I say, okay, I stay 1 year. Okay. And after that, I had a job, so I had to work. But in fact, I stayed 17 years at the university. At the end, I was teaching. Yeah? And in fact, yeah, it's really a journey of discovery, but not only of myself, but of human functioning. I had the choice. I could go on the what they call new science, neuroscience, everything. But I rapidly understood that they have very nice, colorful pictures, but they are very far from what is the living functioning of human being. So even it seems more intangible, more subtle, I think clinical psychology is really where you work with living people, not trying to cut them in pieces to understand them. And psychology, you have to have the living person in front of you if you want to understand this person. Yes, there is a common functioning, but after that, it's really
Yes.
tailored. Everyone has its own background. Everyone make different choices. So functioning, yes, human being, but after that, you have to work with the person in front of you. What begin like a personal journey, I can help other people go the path too. I want to say there is no me and them. We are all on the same boat. Your psychologist is a guide, okay? Is a guide because he already went the
I love.
path. But if you think that you can help other people if you didn't do the work on yourself, this is delusional and it's even dangerous. When you work with a patient, you
Oh,
have to be sure not to project
yeah.
your own problematic on your patient.
I love that. Now, let me ask you, because a lot of times we hear people say, oh, if you have a problem, see a therapist, see a therapist.
Psychology was born in 1876 with Wundt. The first model of Wundt was on affect, with the same three dimension that I rediscovered when I did my own research. At that time, I didn't know about it, and nobody told me about it. When Wundt discovered this the functioning of human being, very soon you had some powerful people pushing psychoanalysis. So psychoanalysis, in a way, was the tree hiding the forest. You can spend your life cutting every word of Freud, hiding something more important. And after that, psychology was really the research of the psyche. What does it mean? Our subconscious, our unconscious part, almost spiritual in a way. Okay. And after that, it's become psychology of intelligence.
It's very interesting because you're someone who works in the clinical space. You said spiritual, right? When you say spiritual, what do you mean?
Spiritual. Even I use meditation, and I always say to my patients, I use it as a psychological tool, not a spiritual tool. But there is something that is defined for me. This is that our unconscious
Okay.
is a consciousness of the universe. And for this, I have to explain my model. So I think
I
that
believe
we
that
live
too.
in two spaces. We have what I call the affect space and the thinking space for representation. When you are born, you already have the affect space and you grow and develop your thinking space. When you learn concepts, words, you understand pictures better and everything. But those two spaces, they belong to two different brains. The first brain is the gut brain, and there is a gut brain. There is neurons in your gut, the same way that you have neurons in your head. And this brain is more primitive, okay? In the evolution, okay, think about a time where the development was the warm level, okay? What is the difference for living is they consume. So your organs, your gut is there to consume, okay? And this gut brain work in quantum physics. There is only now. Pleasure is only now. But the thinking brain is linear because if you want to make a sentence, you need to develop time. Linear. So you have one brain thinking linear physics, classical physics, and you have one brain working quantum. I try to explain. The affect is the fabric of your life. Every 250 milliseconds, you have an affect. This affect is time zero. And after it opens like a flower, and you have this 3-dimension activation, tension, proto-representation. Proto-representation means feeling good or feeling bad, well-being or malaise. This process of affect is a survival process because at any time, it tells you if you are in a good or a bad situation, if you are in a good position or you have yourself in danger and you have to face it. So you have this ongoing monitoring process, always working, whatever your situation, resume all the stimuli coming to you from outside and inside. And the result of it is an affect in no time. So you understand that this processing is treating millions of information in no time. That's why it's quantum. This is the now. Sometimes they say, oh, come back to the now, come back to the now. This is the now. And after that, when you are born, this processing is fully working, but you develop your representation brain. You already have a pre-program of it. For example, newborn, they recognize faces, okay? They recognize it's a face. They don't know what is a face, but they recognize it as a face. Because when we are born, we are already pre-linked to the social link. But you have to understand something very important, that when we are born, objects don't exist. Objects are introduced through the social link. So your two brain.
Right. I know that I've heard of epigenetics where they say there is a passing of information in the utero. People say trauma can be transferred in utero from the mother.
There is, of course, information going in utero. In utero is not like a blank sheet. In utero, you already receive information. You hear the voice of your mother. You hear the voice of your father, and you recognize them. So let's say, for example, your parents are yelling at each other when you are in utero. You know what something is happening, not very nice, and get you stressed. Okay? So yes, something happened. If the mother is stressed, the baby is stressed too. When they are born, it's not a perfect relationship between mother and child for any reason. Mostly because the mother is not mentally available. Maybe she's depressed, maybe she's stressed, but she's not mentally available for the baby. Reaction for the newborn is like he's abandoned, his survival is in question. And he has a big anger. It's anger to keep it inside. And what happened when this child develops? He has a big monster anger inside him. So he has to keep control. The way to keep control about the anger is to cut the bridge between the feeling space and the thinking space. So this is what we can call alienation. It's like you cut the link between your thinking space and your true self, because your true self is in your feeling space, the fabric of your life. Okay? So after that, you go on, you go on, you go on, but you still have the monster anger inside you. And it makes you feel like you are a bad person. So as you are a bad person, you have to punish yourself. And this is called auto-sabotage. So you have this. And how can we rebuild it? The way to rebuild it is to make the anger smaller, so you are not afraid when you grow up of your own anger. You can trust yourself. You don't need to control anymore. You begin to love yourself, to trust yourself. That means you trust your good feeling. And at the end, you have self-confidence, maturity, and what we can call psychological independence. Okay? A lot of people speak about financial independence, but psychological independence is even more important. So this is how you develop. You know, I will say something like 70% of the population follow this, what I just described now. So when you have this cut between your feeling space and your thinking space, it's like you have two opinions in the same body. There is no synergy between your brain, and you always are in an internal conflict. That means it's very difficult to take decision. You cannot trust your own opinion. You need the validation of someone else. I think a lot of people recognize themselves in this, needing the validation of someone else to feel allowed to make a choice. And this, yes, this is true alienation. When you cut
That
the
happens a
bridge between
lot.
your two spaces, your true self is alien to yourself. This is alienation.
Yeah, then that's one of the things, specifically in the community that I work in with people who have significant weight loss. A lot of times, that need for community, that need for acceptance, that need for validation is very present. I don't know if it's even more so after the weight loss, because I do find a lot of people, one of the things that happens in the community, a lot of people very much want other people's approval of this new body that they're in. They want approval of this new person they're becoming. It's almost like they don't know. Even you would think that after the weight loss they would be more confident, but I think it's the opposite. I see a lot of people who
Yeah,
lack
I
confidence
do
after
believe
weight
that a
loss, which
lot
I
of
think is
people,
very
after they
interesting.
lose weight, they are disappointed because they will thought before that losing weight was the answer. Okay, like I lose weight and everything will be fine after. But the reason why they gain weight in the first place is already a symptom of a problematic more profound. Okay. Addiction is a research of pleasure. You have a lot of frustration and you need some satisfaction to annihilate the frustration, just to feel good. When you are frustrated, frustration is of the same nature than anger. Proof when sometimes just a little frustration and everything blow up because you don't know why, but a small thing and switch on off. Okay. Ooh, big anger, big tantrum, and you don't know why. And after that, you say, I don't know what happened to me. I'm very sorry what I said or anything, on off. Okay. So the fact is,
Right.
there is this, often when I say to people, maybe you are angry or something, they say, no, I'm not angry. I'm sad. Anger is a taboo almost. Okay. A lot of people don't allow themselves to say, I'm angry. Okay. And you can be angry against a
It is.
lot of people, but not against your demigod. Okay. Parents. We love our parents. But doesn't mean we don't have anger against our parents. If you recognize this anger that you have, belly anger, you can feel it in your belly, from time to time, the rage. If you feel it, it's an archaic anger. You don't know from what it comes from, but you have it. And it's not a shame, as I say, it's a majority of the population in this situation. And being angry is not feeling good. And well-being and anger, it's like the two sides of the same coins. Often they speak about anger management. I prefer to speak about well-being management. And I have 4 tools for this. I can share them very easily because if you are not in the situation where you still think, "Oh, maybe I can do therapy," you can still use the tools, the well-being program. First is the 3 breathing. 3 breathing, very easy. You breathe with your belly, through your nose, inside and out, 3 times, slowly, very deeply. Okay? When your belly is full, you hold a few milliseconds, you exhale, you hold it a few milliseconds when everything is empty, and 3 times like this. 1 minute, even less than 1 minute, and you feel relaxed. And this is mechanical because when you are stressed, all your organs are constricted. But when you are relaxed, all your organs expand. So when you feel your belly, you expand your gut, okay? And it sends a message to your brain that you are relaxed. 1 minute. You can do it everywhere, at the office, at school, everywhere, on the subway, anyway. So first tool, easy. Second tool is a small pleasure every day. What is a small pleasure? Small pleasure could be anything. A cup of tea, a cup of coffee, an ice cream,
Okay.
talking to a friend for a few minutes, something that you take the time to appreciate. You don't drink your coffee, you appreciate your coffee. Okay? So that means you are present. All the tools, they do the same thing, taking you to the now time. Third tools, so
Oh, I
at
like
least
that.
twice a week, you go for half an hour walk in the green. Green can also be the beach because I have some patients living on a boat, so beach is fine. So green. Green is really important for us to the point that they put some plants on the orbital station, okay? Because they need to see green. Japanese, they have what they call forest bath, okay? So a public park will do it. Yeah, very, very important. So,
I never
okay,
heard of that
the green
before.
walk. And the fourth tool is meditation, 20 minutes a day for an adult. Not 30 minutes, 20 minutes. Why? Because if you want to do better, you will do nothing. 20 minutes is almost the time of your shower every morning. 20 minutes, you can do it every day. 30 minutes, not so much. You try to do better, but very soon you'll stop. So 20 minutes. Something important. What do meditation? In meditation, you stay not moving. You relax. Okay, so not moving, activation, done. Relax, tension, done. Letting your thinking stop. Not trying to control it or stop it by yourself. Just let it stop. Put your attention on something. Your breathing, a point between your two eyes. Just put your attention someplace so your thinking will stop. Okay? But don't force it. So, proto-representation, 0. That means you go down to your feeling space. Okay? Point 0. Go down. No, not the blossom of the affect, but going reverse to the point 0. Okay? Meditation. And all those tools, they do the same thing. They diffuse the anger. If you diffuse the anger, you are not so afraid of the monster anger anymore. It's no more a monster, it's a mouse. So you can face a mouse. And from there, you begin to trust
I like that.
yourself, to love yourself,
Yeah.
self-confidence, psychological independence, maturity. Done. Okay? So yes, sometimes it's too difficult. Even with the well-being program, you still need some help, okay? Because you have a lot on your plate and you need to speak and to go through some trauma you had in your childhood and everything. Fine. But you can already start today, okay? The tools, they are open. I even write a small book
Yeah.
that I call a user guide to you who you are. And this is free. You can download it directly from my website. Okay. So you can have it explaining the model and
Oh,
giving you the tools and how to
on the
use them
website.
and
Okay.
why you are using them. One of the thing is to stay motivated because sometimes what people think is I go to psychotherapy and she will do everything fine. No, I will not do anything. I will just hold the map and you do the work. Okay? I cannot go in your head. I cannot rearrange your brain, but you can do it. So I
Yes.
hold the map and I hold also a mirror. That means you're telling me something, but you don't hear what you say. So I just reflect it back to you with different words, maybe, so you see yourself. And after that, you understand how you function, so you can help yourself. I don't have a magic wand, so you still have to do the work.
Yes. No, and that's important because I think a lot of people, no one's going to fix your problem because no one, to your point, no one's inside of you. You know what's happening inside of you. One of the things that I found interesting when I was doing my research about you is
Mm.
that you're not very, you don't really like labels. And I know a lot of people now are starting to self-diagnose saying they have ADHD. How do you stay present when there's a
Okay,
million things happening in your
label
head?
doesn't help anyone. Label hurts people. Okay. Label is convenient between psychiatrists. I will not say even psychologists, even if a lot of psychologists try to adopt the way of the psychiatrist, which I think is not a good thing, but okay. So they use the same vocabulary, okay, which means label, mental label. But I truly believe the most important thing is functioning, how you function. Okay? When I put a label on someone, it's like I put you in a box, you cannot go out of the box. You are in the box, so you will be in the box till the end of your life. And this is wrong.
A lot of times, it's very easy in the society that we live in to kind of slap a label on things, whether it's, ADHD, whether it's anxiety, depression. There's a lot of labels, right? And the interesting part about this is that with Dr. Elefant-Yanni, she does feel that there has to be a better approach. And the non-labeling approach is what she models her framework of, where it's preventing emotional wounds from being reduced to anxiety or being reduced to, ADHD, and there's more depth to you than the what it looks like without the label. What is the perspective of navigating without a label? And I think it's very interesting what Dr. Elefant-Yanni is bringing to the table because she's saying you don't need to be reduced to just your label. You don't need to be reduced to just this cookie cutter diagnosis of yourself, which I think is very, very appropriate. And I'm very interested in hearing more about that because labels are everywhere.
The most important
Please
thing is
continue.
functioning. Understand how you function. Okay. You can change your way of functioning. This is why we do therapy. Okay. Psychotherapy. The goal of psychotherapy is to change. Okay. Change, you can change on different level. Okay. Behavior, representation, the way you feel. And in fact, when you change one, everything changes. So now the question is, which way will be the best way for me? Personally, I think that the 3D human therapy allows a person to be in control. Because even before the therapy or after the therapy or during the therapy, you do the change using the 4 tools I spoke about before. What I call the well-being program. And very quickly, you see results. And what is interesting is using the well-being program and 1 session a week, you work as deep as the unconscious part of yourself. I mean, the feeling space. And there is also one thing that I want to say. The unconscious is not a mystery black box. When you use this 3D human therapy, you understand that your unconscious is your feeling space. Nobody ever told you about the affect space, the feeling space, okay? We tell you about your intelligence, and even now we speak of emotional or affective intelligence, which is a nonsense. The affect is first, intelligence is second. You cannot be intelligent if you are not highly sensitive. Okay? So the fact is, if you don't know how you function, how can you help yourself? You can't. You have a missing understanding. It's like your own inside, your own affective
Right.
life, which is the main life of your life, okay, is missing. And also something, sometimes they say psyche and body
Right.
are cut. No, they're not cut. They're cut if you don't function well. But normally, your two brains works in synergy, and you are able to decide for yourself, and you know what you want in your life, and you don't have two opinions, which makes that you are unable to decide. The main goal of the well-being program is to make your two space work together, your two brain work in synergy, as they should be working. And after that, human being, just one, in one body, not two cut of two parts inside the same body who are never agree and you cannot decide. If you understand how you function, it's like you already have a map of what you want to, you want to go and what you want to achieve. But it's true that change is not easy. Change is difficult. That's why you have to stay motivated. And with the tools, as you see already some changes, like for example, you don't have so many frustration. It's not important. You feel better because you don't have this anger always flaring for any small thing. Okay. You already see the change. So you stay motivated using the tools. And at the end, okay, you can do it. You can go to psychological independence and maturity. Now the question is, why this model was discovered at the end of the 19th century is not public knowledge.
I think it's just a lot of times right now, in my opinion, especially here in America, they always want to opt to give you medication. Medications that's the quick fix. And a lot of, I mean, even for myself, I can speak to my personal experience. I was diagnosed with ADHD. The first thing they did was give me a pill. And, they're like, this is going to fix your problem. And as opposed to what you're speaking about, these tools that you implement to have that self-awareness, to have a sense of how my brain functions. I'll be honest, I've never really thought about it that way because I thought in
Yeah, but the
society here, it's just
psychiatrists
you go to a
believe it.
psychiatrist, you
The
get
psychiatrists
medication, and it
believe it
fixed the
because
problem.
it's
We're
what
not
he
having the
was taught when he went to
conversations.
university. So the propaganda machine is not from yesterday. More than 1 or 2 centuries ago, Rockefeller worked very well to choose
No.
the cursus of the psychiatrists and other doctors. Just one thing. Why only doctors in medicine are called doctors? I'm a doctor in psychology. Nobody call me doctor. Okay? Why? My PhD is the same values than any doctor in medicine. Okay? I did not steal it. I work hard for it. And it's like I cannot have the same recognition. Yes, in Singapore I have. Okay? But in other countries, it's very difficult. And I want to say something. During the COVID crisis, we saw what is like a psychology war, okay? Psychological war. How you can use fear to make people do what you want them to do. Climate change. How you can use fear to make people do what they want you want
Right.
them to do. So you can use feelings. You go to the movie theater, change the music of the movie, you change the movie. Music speak directly to your feelings. If people understand how they function,
That's
it
true.
will be much more difficult, okay, to use them as you want them to be used. I'm a little passionate about this.
Yeah.
Okay, psychological war is only possible when people doesn't know how they function.
Yeah. And even with this community that I'm in, I feel like, to your point about how psychology is used almost against us, look at how many commercials you see on television that with the not healthy foods and things that maybe don't align with our journey. And they're pushing these beautiful images, and now you feel hungry and now you want to go get this food. It's very
Yeah, but
interesting
you know,
that
you have to
they
see
use psychology in
advertising
that way
like
too.
lies and selling dreams. Okay, if you use this perfume, you will find the love of your life. Okay. If you drink this soda, you will have a lot of friends. Okay. If you chew this gum, you will have a lot of friends to jump in the swimming pool with you and have a nice party. You understand? So no, reality doesn't sound like this. Okay? And this is also a problem.
Right.
People are disconnected of reality, disconnected of nature, alienated also on this way. And if some people have their way, we all live online in the meta world. If you see, feeling is a reality of your life. Now,
Yeah.
when you are in your head, you're already another level, not in the reality. This is, let's say differently, real for feeling, reality in your head. Like you can create a world already in the representation. Now, if I live on meta, it's like another level. So if you think, for example, living through a movie, sometimes we just put our head on the table and we watch TV for hours. It's like we don't live in ourselves. We live by projection. Living in meta is even farther than that. So this is level of alienation, how you become alien to yourself. And
That. Do you
social
think so
media
with
is
social
part of
media
the
that we're more
representation of
disconnected
meta.
with
So
ourselves?
you can say it's 3 or 4 level above reality. So it's like 3 or 4 level of alienation. When you are on Facebook, it's not like you are with people. You are with your representation of the people. You don't know anything of those people. You don't even know if their identity online is true or not. And there is no feeling, no touch, nothing. So you have to be careful on what you think is social life. Social life is exchange of handshake, is exchange of smile, but direct. But I want to say something here. There is something interesting in the fact that online therapy works as well as in-person therapy. And this was something new for me because when I was working in the clinic in Singapore, from time to time, I do online for people because, in Singapore, people travel a lot. So when they are going abroad for, let's say, 10 days or a week or something, we did online session. But otherwise, I meet the people in person. But during the COVID crisis, I work only online. And this was something incredible for me that online therapy worked as well as in-person therapy. So I was surprised. I have to say, I was surprised. But the difference is, as I said before, I hold the map, but you do the work. We can almost say that the 1 week session is like a motivation session. Yes, we work a little about trauma and things like this. Yes, it's true. But a big part of the session is also how to stay motivated and maybe also to discover something new about you. It's like I can say, you flat some more rocks on the road. Okay, something like that. But before you told me, yes, I was diagnosed ADHD and everything. A lot of people come to me with this or telling me, I have this problem or this problem. And sometimes I'm almost amazed, like some people tell me, yes, it's a family tree. Recently I have a patient who say, yes, ADHD, but it's a family heritage. How come ADHD was
Oh
not a
no,
label used
we're
40 years
losing
ago?
her. Oh no.
So
Just when we got
it
to the
could be
good
very
part,
surprising
I
in
want to
this
know
way.
about my problems. So we're going to give her a second to get back on, but we're getting close to the hour, guys. I am super duper excited to when this
Char,
comes
I
out
don't
because
know if you
this is a
hear me
pre-recorded
still now
session, but
because I still have
you
some
guys, there's so much value in what
difficulty
I've
with
heard
the
so far.
stability of the internet
My
connection. So I don't know
understanding
if you
as of
can
right
still
now is
hear me
that
well.
being present, the feelings we feel are our true self. The things that happen up here are typically a perception or reflection of what we think we feel. So that being in tune with self, being grounded is so important. I think that we need to find moments of quiet time. And I said this before in another conversation that
Char, do you hear
being
me?
grounded in it's not just a luxury, it's a necessity. And I'm doing better at giving myself those moments of just really just having the the moment of silence, the moment to reflect on what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking. So I think that's super duper important. So I'm glad Dr. Elefant-Yanni mentioned that. And I think she's coming back on right now. So perfect timing. Let's see. There we go.
Oh, do
Did
you
we
hear
get her
me?
back? And it looks like it's loading. So you guys make sure you follow Talk Berry to Me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We are going on a season break for the month of August, but you guys will get to see these episodes throughout the months of August. Also, make sure you check out the Obesity Help event. It's happening in Irvine, California, and it's going to take place October 17th through the 18th. Make sure you check that out. It's going to be code VSGBestie20, and it'll save you $20 off your ticket. Welcome back, Dr. Eliani. Please continue.
Okay, so I just wanted to tell you how to download the 3 small book I told you about the well-being program. So you
Yes.
go on the website psychologyexperts.online/3D form, and there you can just download the 3D human therapy, a user guide to who you are. So this will explain your functioning and the
Okay.
well-being tools and how to use them.
Those
Yes.
who are and connect with you, because I think you have a lot of really good points. And I think a lot of times we need a different perspective. And while you were away, I was thinking about everything you were saying, and it almost is like being present and making time to be present is so powerful. I think
Yes.
we live in a very fast-paced world, and sometimes I have 3 babies. I have 3 little kids. Sometimes when you're a parent and you're living in a fast-paced world, you have a job, you're in school, you still have to find moments to really just sit with yourself and see how you're feeling internally, see how what the functionings are. Connect with Dr. Elefant-Yanni. I know that we're getting close to the hour, and I want to give Dr. Elefant-Yanni a moment to just share some final thoughts and just overall, so any words of wisdom that you can give us so that we can kind of think about these things moving forward.
I will tell you about my motto, okay? My motto is enjoy life and carry on. One of the things I
Ooh.
want people to understand, you cannot give anything to other people except good vibes. I explain. I told you when we are born, objects don't exist. We are only in the social link, okay? So yes, you can give gifts, but gifts are only objects, not so important. They are important because they are taken in the social link. But good vibe is really something important. You have the right to be selfish, to be happy, because happiness is the only thing you can share. And this is true altruism. Giving things is not altruism. Sharing happiness, this is altruism. So you have the right to be selfish, to be happy, because this is the real altruism. If you work on yourself, make you feel better, people around you will feel better, and people around them will feel better. You see, it's like going, expanding good vibes. Okay, so people take the time to feel good because you will help your husband, your partner, your children, your parents. Think about it.
Yes, I love that. That's beautiful. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Dr. Elefant-Yanni. I love everything you shared with us today, and I know my audience is going to love
Thank you.
everything you shared. If you are watching us live, because I know some people may be watching us live right now, make sure you're following Dr. Elefant-Yanni. She is on LinkedIn, she's on Instagram. I will share the links with you guys. You guys know that I can't close out without saying quickly, people throw on what shines. But when in doubt, my friends, don't be afraid to shine brighter. Thank you so much. I'm going to hang out with Dr. Elefant-Yanni for just a moment, but thank you to
I
everyone
learn it.
who
I learn it. Okay. Oh, you have
much.
the art on top of it. Okay. So, to all people, work on yourself to be happy. Happiness is really